I think Briar's friends made Briar Blake. So Chad took on the flyweights this year, and really they had a good year. I don't remember what their final record was. 3-5. So nothing wrong with that. Very respectable. He did a great job with those kids. Chad Bronson kind of started this league. This is our sixth season. Did a great job for a lot of families. It feeds into Hononegah. It's for our whole area. I didn't have anything prepared, so I'm sorry. But him and Bronson kind of came back last year, right? You had a couple years you were gone. So, and really helped a lot. They really did. Because they're both great coaches. I watched them coach years ago when they were with that other organization. And they were loud then too. So not much has changed there, but we keep building. We keep building. And these boys, I know, everybody's a little concussion happy now, and that's understandable. But I think we're teaching these kids the right way. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for right now, Chad, thank you.
Wrote down a few things about some of the boys on the team. Alexander Vanderheiden, we called him the Puke King. Every day of practice, that boy was throwing up mac and cheese. We do a little, it's a game, it's a fun game for kids, but also teach them how to tackle spider the web. This kid tackled another boy, I don't remember who it was, but he got up and he said, "Thunder!" Elliot Beagle, where you at? Elliot's pretty quiet, and we had him do breakdowns a couple times, but when we ask him, when he says, "What are we going to do?" he says, "What are we going to do?" Garrett Clayton, where you at, buddy? Bull in the ring. Got a circle around, everybody's clapping. Here's Garrett. Mike Cannon, one of our coaches, Jack, is his son. We were doing a blocking drill, and we were supposed to be chopping the feet, but Mike is saying, "Kick, kick, 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 kick." I said, "Mike, this is not swim class, man. This is football." So, Tristan, where you at, buddy? He was our safety. He got burned on a play, and this kid come out of nowhere and was sliding to third base trying to trip this kid. He not only did it once, but he did it twice. And then there's my hammerhead son, Briar. At Belvedere, a game we did win, he's in the end zone doing his version of the discount double check. And it was kind of something like this. All in all, we had a good year. The boys did tremendously well from the time they started at conditioning to the time we stopped playing football. These boys just made leaps and bounds. They were hitting hard. Couldn't ask anything better from these guys. They are our future of Banktown. I believe these boys are I'd just like to thank our coaches, Rich Bennington, Blake Passmore, Carson Partlow, Jason Moore, Mike Campbell, Mr. Pat White, and Greg Morrow. Jaden Jones, under 26. It's like watching paint dry right here. Number 6, Garrett Clayton. Number 20, Matthew Center. Number 7, who's that? LED. Come on, Rogers. Number 1, Elijah Deaver. Number 16, Jack Campbell. Number 8, Brayden Hartlow. Number 9, Loudon Schnack. Number 29, Tristan White. Number 28, Gabriel White. Number 18, Zach Carl. This is your 2012 Flyweights.
Very nice.
Good job, boys.
I'm going to introduce our lightweight coach, Jamie Jensen, this year. This was a huge change for Jamie. Going from varsity last year, the 8th graders, to lightweights. And I think it was probably a little rough in the beginning. These little things like, you gotta remember. They had two and six season this year. They had a lot of kids come up from flyweight, so there was a lot of young kids on that team. You know what? He had a good season. I think it was a success. I think those kids learned a lot, and pretty much it for me. Jensen and his coaching staff.
I'd like to thank all the parents first for letting me yell at the kids all season long. I guess the main thing I learned is that they can take it. I had a great coaching staff, Terry Bloom, Glenn Leisure, Terry's dad also helped us out throughout the season. But like Luke said, it was definitely a learning experience. Because I've been here for 6 years now. The first 5 years I had the same kids every single year. I kind of grew with them. And I let them go to Honolulu, and then I came back down, and yeah. It was a great group of kids, you know. And we'd be after practice. I tried to give a speech every day after practice, and I'd be talking, trying to give them the old heartfelt, you know, get pumped up thing, and next thing you know, one will go, "Hey, there's a rainbow," and then they're all looking at the rainbow. It was tough to get real serious with them, but we had fun. I hope the kids enjoyed playing for us, for me, because I think a lot of them, like I said, I yell a lot. They got used to it after a while. So, but I enjoyed it, and this is also the future, you know, the flyweights, flyweights. This is where it starts. So this is where all the other teams that won championships at the older levels, and they all start out not winning games, only winning 1 or 2 games a year, and at the end, when they're ready to leave us, they're winning championships. So I see the same thing happening here with these guys. Kids keep coming out, keep working hard, and we're going to be all right. Colin Allen, number 17. Xander Schnack. Nathan Tresmer. Malachi Tunnel. Ty Wallace. You did a pretty good job taking it. Did you? Cy Zayner. Jagger Miller. Logan Palazzola. Billy Kingston. Joshua Rudnicki. First time I've seen most of these kids' first names. I didn't know they had first names. Wearing the wrong jersey. Love the jersey. Go, Bears! Silas is back there! Gunnar Jensen. All right. We're going to have our team picture, guys.
I don't know how I was able to play that.
You don't have to say
Oh.
All right, next we're going to work on heavyweight and varsity, kind of separate them together, because that's kind of how it was all year. These guys had a great season. I mean, from the oldest to the youngest, they bar none, had a phenomenal year. Every one of those kids played as a team. And they were brothers out there. I don't know, outside of football, I don't know, but out on the field, they were all brothers.
I really thought of it.
It was a joy. We got it took us a few games at the beginning of the season to get things straightened out. And I think we got it. I appreciate all the dedication that these players had, and you parents, same thing. I mean, you're the ones bringing them out there every night, and we appreciate that, because without them showing up, it's kind of tough to have them. So, give a round of applause to your boys and yourself. Bronson and I kind of talked at the beginning of the season. We didn't quite know how we were going to do this. I had 8 or 9 games for my 8th graders, and a lot of small kids on that team. I'm sorry. Bronson Nimmer. And coaches, please come up. Everybody coaches. All you coaches come up.
At the beginning of the year, I knew Luke was taking the 8th graders, so I guess I was ignorant to the fact that the other teams down in the league were playing their 13-year-olds. I did not know that. So once I found out that, I had a parent write me an email, and then I started questioning Luke and figured out what was going on. Well, then we had to put our teams together, because putting an 11-year-old kid like Josh Ryberg up against, you guys saw that game today. Whoever was at
Number
that game,
55.
number 1. I mean, it's just maturity levels. So we had to have our 13-year-olds in. We did it for safety reasons. It just turned out that we had a pretty good season. But my coaching staff here, we separated our practices, played together in the games. We scrimmaged a lot. We did scrimmage almost every day. My coach is Scott Carnes. He's the kick special teams coach. Steve Roberts, my offensive coordinator. He rotated our defense, and very smart guy. And of course, Matt Strand, our defensive coordinator. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough at the beginning of the season. I was being pulled from every direction. People thought I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and I hope you know now that I wasn't. It was tough. It was something big to swallow. It worked out great. These boys played their hearts out. I mean, as a whole team. That's the difference between our teams and the teams down at Rock Valley Junior Tackle. They build their whole team around one player. Where if that guy goes down, they're screwed. Us, we can lose a player. We build a team. We work as a team. We play as a team. And if we meld together. And these boys going into high school next year, I feel bad for the other teams. You know, they're phenomenal. So, without further ado, we'll get the players. This is our center. He did a great job. He snapped all year long, and right up there with the varsity guys, held his blocks. Number 52, Trent Aldrich. This boy here, he's tough. This last week in practice, he got a great big old gash in his chin. He's bleeding all over his penny. He wasn't worried about that. He didn't even know he did it. He was dizzy. So we had to get him. Dad took him in to get his stitches. Anthony Lamonica, number 30. Here's his little brother, Samuel Lamonica, first-year player and a very promising prospect. This next kid here, I don't know how his heart fits inside his chest. He's only this big, but if any of you were at our Belvedere game, they had a kid this tall, and he broke out in the open, and this little guy tackled him. Number 37, Josh Reinberg. There's another kid that I don't know how his heart fits in his chest. This kid goes 100 miles an hour all the time. We were beating, I don't remember who it was, but we had to have our skills players out of their positions. We took him out, he started crying. He says, I'll play guard, coach. I'll play tackle, whatever you want me to play. We couldn't put him back in. Sam Tressmer, get up here, buddy.
Put me in.
Yeah, he will. 6th grade. This kid here, if you've ever been fishing and you see water bugs floating along the water and running like that, this guy here, he runs just like that. He's very shifty and hard to tackle. Number 35, good roll.
Sorry about the back.
I coached him last year at lightweights, and he was really last year was next year. This year he's really he's asking to go to the game constantly. Tough kid, got a big heart, 105. Coach will not. I don't know why, but he don't remember his name ever, so he's called New Guy. This kid here, I watched him in indoor this last year, and I thought, man, he's just not into the game at all. You know, he wasn't blocking. I'll tell you what, that first day of practice, he was a new kid. He has come so far. He's working hard. He's lifting weights. He's going to be a stud next year. He was this year. Noah Robbins, get up here. You gotta cut your hair though, buddy. This guy here, I coached him as well last year. It's real hard for us coaches to not yell at him like he's an adult. Okay, this kid just turned 11 in June. You'll see why it's hard. He's still a baby. He's still a baby. But we gotta keep reminding ourselves because he's so big. Caden Carnes, number 7.
Is he running?
Here's a first-year player. He's great. He's got a great name. At the beginning of the season, we do our sprints. He'd have a hard time with it, and then he just kept working, kept doing everything we told him to do. He's a very, very coachable kid, and I told him, make sure you come back next week because you're going to be a stud. Nicholas Buckner, Uncle Buck. corner. Between last year and this year. Day and night. How much he's improved. He's a joy to coach. We're going to have him again next year. He's going to be a leader. Colt Neckler, get up here. This kid here, I coach him indoor. He's one of those kids that you don't have to explain to him too much. You just tell him what you want, and he knows. He's real tough. I mean, he plays quarterback for us. He also plays linebacker for us, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. First game of the year, he got a knee injury, and we missed him for a couple games. We're glad to have him back. Zach Bailey. Uh-oh. That's my son-in-law here. Where's he at? This kid is funny. He is funny beyond belief. He will talk your ear off. He's like Eddie Haskell's what he is. He's real sweetheart to you, and then you hear stories off in the you know. He's great though. I love the kid. Joey Esposito, come on. This kid here, the first year I had a chance of coaching him, he's one of those kids you can put in any position and he'll play. Doesn't matter if you want him at quarterback, at guard, running back, he can play them all. He's just a phenomenal athlete, 7th grader, and one of the hardest hitters on our team. Aaron Frank. This next boy, I had the pleasure of coaching him last year, and I've watched him come from not knowing what he's doing at all to being one of the better blockers we have. He's got all the heart in the world. He works his butt off. He's never missed a practice, I don't think, maybe 1 or 2, but he's tough as nails, and he's going to be a stud. And I hope he keeps on growing the way he has. But Luke Bolstead, come on up. This little guy, he's built like a tank. He's a hard hitter, runs hard. First year I got a chance to coach him. He's a wonderful kid. Got hurt first game, got a concussion, and we missed him for a few games. I hope he grows next year. He's stocky as all get up, buddy. Number 44, Nathan Bush. We didn't miss anybody, did we? Anybody out there we didn't see? He's not his weight. Looks not bad. Absolutely love coaching these guys. Wonderful kids.
I'm gonna hopefully I don't cry. I'll tell you what. We got our 8th graders. So So 8 games. It's not as easy as you think. Trying to find games. We did a lot of traveling as just the 8th grade unit. These kids are phenomenal kids. Phenomenal kids to coach. A lot of them we've had, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 that we've had for 6 years. 7. So, I'm not gonna, I don't think I need to speak about each kid. I want to introduce my coaches.
Why not?
Don, he's the shoe-in coach of the year every year. He's there early every day for practice. Gets everything set up. He's ready to go. He runs his boys until, most of them practice at some point. Does a great job with kids. Always has, and he'll be missed after this year. Some of that. Tom Engelkis, I mean, I can't define these guys as he's offense, he's defense. You know what? We all wear every hat on this staff, and so Tom helps out pretty much offense, defense, special teams. And he's a little quiet sometimes, but he did get his first whistle this year. We brought it to one practice, and we never saw it. Tony Bonnet runs our offense. Tony this year put a different offense together. It's more of a spread offense. Did a phenomenal job with it. Researched it. I mean, we started out with how many? 30, 35. I think we ended up with about 80.
71.
73 plays by the end of the year. We added as these kids got it, and they got it really well. And they ran it really well, and he coached it. So as far as what he did. Tony Rafferty, he's our motivational guy. He likes to motivate the referees and the other coaches and the other team. Just like keep them straight. Right, just to make sure they're in line. He's, you know what? He doesn't ever want to be recognized as a coach, but he is, and he brings more to the table than I think he even realizes with these boys. They look at him as like a second father, so it's kind of good. He's a great guy to have around. So clean your room. Give him a hand. This is my first year coaching with Jim. He's another motivator as well. He does a great job with the linemen for the most part, but with everybody. All our kids, these kids, we had quarterbacks playing offensive line, and we had, Thomas ran the first touchdown back today.
That's 25 push-ups for catching that ball.
So Jim was a great addition to our team as well. I mean, it looked a little silly sometimes, but we walk out for the heavyweight games, and we had 10, 11 coaches. You have these three. So they did a great job all year long. Dedicated. I mean, I don't think I can count on one hand how many practices any of these guys missed together. So some of us will be back next year coaching, some won't because, got 8th grade boys, so time to move on a little bit. But give other dads a chance to step up and kind of fill that role. It's a great thing to do for your kids. not just about your kid, man. It's about a whole bunch of kids. So.
Let's hear it for Coach Luke.
Tony's like, get the hell away from me. All my plays. So I try not to get in their way. I work with a little bit of everything. I mean, we're all the same way. We offense, defense. You know what? We had a great year this year. We lost really as an 8th grade squad one game against Winnebago, and it was a 1-point game. It was a great game. Not quite as good as the team. But they were a great team. I want to thank them for 5-6 years of dedication to this organization. Because without these guys up here, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Okay? So I'm going to start introducing kids now. I'm going to try not to talk too much about them. This kid, it was a brand new kid this year. And I thought the first week, I thought, oh, I don't know. He was a little out of shape. I think since then he's dropped probably about 30 pounds. He's really come a long way. We just got a little, we got to figure out how to light a fire under his butt. But he's 6 foot something, 200 something, intimidating. And he's getting it. And I hope he continues his career in football because he will get it and he'll do great things. Jake Brown, number 6. Here's another guy that we've had for a couple of years. He's pretty quiet. But I'll tell you what, he's really come back this year and made a true effort to better himself as a player. Number 45, Jake Olson. We call him. You know what? Golden locks. Just look at it. Sunshine. There's another guy we've had for a couple of years, and he's a lot like Olsen. It's not like the Olsen players, but he really stepped up and he took a little bit more of a role, a lot more of a role this year than he has. He had a tough year with some family issues. Eddie Ray, come on up. Well, this guy, I don't know what to say about him. I'll tell you what, he's a force on the field. He makes things happen, and I wish he wouldn't have broke his hand this year. It would have been a lot nicer to have him every day. It was tough, and I'm glad he came back for these last couple of games because he did a great job this year. Here's one of my 4 that, because of the age restrictions, couldn't play on our combined heavyweight varsity team. Has been a great player for the last few years. This is my first, not my first year coaching him, but I didn't have last year. Nicky Bankovich, number 2. Sad thing is, those 4 kids that couldn't play on this team deserve deserve to play on this team?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Well, here's another good player. First year guy. I'll tell you what. I heard that he was a quarterback. And then, I'll tell you, we saw him run and I was like, yeah, you're not a quarterback. He had a great season this year. As I watched him when we played up in Whitewater, he caught a pass, and you could see the separation. And the kid that was chasing him was pretty quick too. And the separation was just like, I thought he was running from the cops.
Get away from the top.
This kid had the best socks on the varsity team. Jonah in the last couple of years has come a long way. And I'll tell you what, he's a player now. He's an athlete, and he gets it done when he needs to get it done. Very coachable kid, and it's great to see him. Jonah Rafferty, number 6. Here's number 2 of 4. This kid, he's like my kid. Jake Fisher did a great job this year. He's played great for 5-6 years now, 6 years. Very proud of him. He plays center, he plays quarterback, he plays defensive end, he plays linebacker. He's one of those, like any of these kids, they can play a lot of different positions. And I'll tell you what, and no offense to you, but Jake was here, his season was over, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and he came out every night and practiced with these guys. This guy, I'll tell you what, he's been playing for a long time. He wrestled for a while. I don't think he's still wrestling. Nope. He is. The only thing I wish is that this one would grow. He's got a heart that's 6 feet tall, but he comes in a small package. And he steps in there as small as he is, and I love Hunter to death. He just gets outside sometimes. Hunter Engelkist, number 13. This kid's like my kid too. And thanks to him, I'm limping now. But I'll tell you what, Blake has gotten better every year, every game, every practice, every day. And he's an athlete. He's a state wrestler, I think. Right? Great guy to have on your team. I'll tell you what.
Great kid.
Yep. This guy is a lot like his younger brother, only bigger. And he gets it done. On the field, off the field. He's a great kid. I love all these guys to death. Reed Roulette, come up here. You had a great. This kid scores his first touchdown today. Told me at the beginning of the year, he said, I just want Thomas to score 1 touchdown. He's never scored a touchdown. He's played offensive line and defensive end for forever. Long time. And he's very fast. I mean, teams have looked at him going, oh yeah, he's not going to catch me around the corner. And all of a sudden, here comes Thomas. He's like a train out there. And just wham! And he's right there. He's right on their back. And he's a great player. Another coachable kid. I mean, we keep telling him. Hammerhead. I don't really need to say a whole lot about him, but I'll tell you what, he had probably hit the best game I've ever seen him play in today. Sometimes in practice, I think, man, I tell him something, and he's like, huh? And he gets it. I mean, he hears you. He's just saying, huh? So he's been great to coach for 6 years. I mean, this kid really, he got it done this year. Improved a lot. His running, he was always a head down. I'm going through the line. He's got a little finesse now, which is good. He's gotten a lot faster in the last 2 years. He's grown. I mean, he's like a bull out there. Dylan Nimmer, number 29. Golden boy.
Who's that?
I don't know how he got this nickname. I do. But I think Coach Stafford gave it to him. No, I coached 6 years in tackle and 3 or 4 years in flag. I live with them. Yeah, sometimes. I turn a lot of lights off at home, but it's well worth it. To me, he's a great player. I'm not going to say he's the greatest player. These are all great players up here. Obviously, he's my kid, so.
He's the greatest to you. It's okay.
He is. He's my favorite son. I always tell him. He's a leader. He played quarterback this year. Really was his first year playing quarterback. Fish hurt his shoulder beginning of the season, so he kind of had to step in. He's played backup for a long time. He grew a ton. He's like 6'1", size 14 shoes, so he's almost to my foot size. Great kid to coach, although sometimes he doesn't listen so well. But anyway, no, come on up here, bud. I know Coach Tony wants to say something, but I want to say a couple things. Number one, the 6th, 7th, 8th grade kids we have this year that played awesome as a whole unit. I mean, we kept them separate because we did. We had 4 kids this year that were too old, so we went and got a bunch of games to play, and they did really well there. And then they stepped in with the younger kids and did great there. I mean, it was great to see them teach these guys a little bit. And I think, you learn something every day. And I know they learn stuff from these kids as well. It was a little tough in the beginning, like I said before, to mesh the 2 teams. We ended up working it out. And like I said, there was 10, 11 coaches out there on the sidelines, and I think the refs kind of turned around like, oh my God, here we go again. Because we had, same refs every week.
I had to call a couple of times.
Yeah. These 8th graders are on their way out to high school, and I'm not going to preach about how good they're going to do in high school. I can't do that because I don't know. But I know this, and we got a couple freshmen here from last year that played, Bailey and Green, and of them are here today. So there were 2 7th graders and the rest 8th. I think you had 18, 17 kids last year. I think 14 went and played freshmen. There was 8 defensive players that started at non-read freshmen, came from Mancow. And there was 6 offensive players that started from Mancow, out of 13 kids. The other league brought in, like, there was like 75 total on that team. So 13 kids were from Mancow, and they made up more than half of each starting squad. That tells me that us old guys up here are doing something right. And it starts at the flyweight level, the lightweight level, the heavyweight level, the varsity. We're doing something here that's pretty good. We're feeding into how to English and giving them play. Not stand on the sideline kind of guys. Kids that actually play. I can guarantee if these kids all come out next year for freshman ball, which I would assume that they will, 99.9% are going to start. Yeah. So I look forward to coming out and watching. I look forward to watching these guys play this year. I didn't get to too many games, but I got to a few, and it was really nice to see that representation at the high school level. So, boys, you had a great thing you did today. And I'm not stealing. If I'm stealing somebody's thunder, let me know. It's all right. Well, I just won't get here. We started out 2-2, 2-3 this season. We ended up 5-3. Won our playoff game last week against Nelson Storm. Went in, and I think for the first time ever at any level, beat Northwest for the championship. Was 26-12. I'll tell you what, these guys played their ass off. I mean, they really did. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. They deserve it. They played a team. They had actually, Northwest had a kid on there. They cut off for a running back or skills position was 180 pounds. They had a kid that was 186 pounds. Their number one, for those of you who were out there, 186 pounds. He brought them to their undefeated season up to that point. And so, as a coaching staff, we felt that it was only right to let him play today. Because had he not played and we would have beat him, they would have said, you know what, our best player wasn't playing, that's why you won. No, we don't want that. We want your best. And they brought their best. And they didn't give up the whole game. They played that game from the beginning to the end, just like our kids did.
Very tough, very tough.
And we had a couple turnovers that were awesome. Dylan and Thomas both ran touchdowns back, or interceptions back. I don't know who else scored. I was screaming so bad today I couldn't. I was having heart attacks. Dylan ran a kickoff back today. He got the game ball. He had a great game. All these kids had a great game, and all these younger kids play a very important role on this team. I mean, number one, they're looking going, okay, this is what we can do next year. This team won the 7th grade championship last year. They won, and with the help of all these guys, won this year's championship. And both of them were sweet victories. It was, I can't say enough about this team as a unit, but I love them all. Period. Enough said, guys.
Hey, I'd like to just say thank you to a few people, and I hope I don't leave anybody out, but Heather Leisure she's our lifeblood. I mean, she makes everything go together. I mean, sometimes she yells at me whenever she's hungry at me, but she's great. vital to this organization. All the work she does, it's unbelievable how much time she puts into this. Everybody on the board. But a special person for us that really helped our season is Roseanne Novak. Roseanne films every game for us, and she passes out game films to every one of us coaches so we can go home and study. It really helped us out for the attrition game. We shut them down. It helped us out for the Nelson Storm game. We took that and then this game. Joe, her husband, did the film last week. I sent her an email and I said, Joe, you're fired. Because he'd be on the film and as the play would go out, you could just tell he was just watching it like this. I guess it just goes to show how tough it is to videotape a game as well as she does, because I mean she's right on every play, and she has 2 boys playing in it, and she does not focus on her kids. She focuses on our team. So kudos to you, ladies.
I also want to thank one person that I seem to forget every year is my wife, Nicole. This is probably her last year on the board and as far as doing any of this. But she's been a great support for me, and she's like Noah's other coach at home. Because she tells me that I can't coach him at home, so she coaches me at home. So we work pretty good as a team too. She's done a great job, and I love her to death.
One more person I'd like to thank, Dana Ackman. She helps us out a lot. I mean, I hope I don't forget anybody. We love you all. We love your kids. Let me tell you that right now. I mean, I think of each and every one of these kids as one of my own kids. And, you know, I think about them all the time. I'm always worried about them getting hurt or how they're doing in school. And I just love your kids. So thank you for bringing them to us. We love them.
Because we are champions, the boys deserve championship apparel.
Yeah!
The design is already set. It's last year's shirt, obviously. The new design will have all of the players' names on the back, and it will say 2012 RDJT champions. We'll email out the forms to you tomorrow. I need to get them back in the next couple days. You can drop them off at my house. You can, I don't know how else you're going to get them if you don't have practice. We're doing it so that we can get the items back to you when we do equipment turn-in at the end of next week. So you can see me tonight and I can get your order, or you can wait for the email to come out tomorrow. But there will be t-shirts and sweatshirts for the boys and coaches. Thank you.
I might not be too long-winded, thankfully, stole a couple of my lines. Sorry. 6 years ago, I want to just left me there with these guys. 6 years ago, for us, I was coaching Dylan and T-ball baseball. And after one of the games, he wanted to ask if I ever played football. Sure. Started the football program, and I'd like to become a coach if you're interested. So I said, sure. So I started out with Luke 6 years ago. And Jamie started coaching this kid 6 years ago. And as Jamie said earlier, flyweights are the blood of this program. Flyweights out there, every one of these guys, same size as you. Come a long way. First year, I think we won 2 games up in the Lloyd League. Second year, I think we maybe won 3 games. Our biggest nemesis was the Clinton. Some farm boys for Clinton. And then when we came to our RBJT, they got to play the third year. They played about here. And it's been a long journey for these guys. And let's see here. Oh, here.
high.
Oh, seventh grade, yeah, we were playing against sixth graders, playing against seventh graders, and, guys took it out, we really lost.
We were one against West.
In our fifth year, we came out, undefeated. One special thanks I really want to say this year was for, we had 4 boys that they had North Championship. Board, Matt County Board, we struggled with this, what do we do with this board? When I looked away, they scheduled was 17.
We started with 9.
So he didn't have to do that. One of those boys was not, he would have had to work for him. We need to send him to the other league, other teams, other league. Wouldn't have a chance. So I really want to thank you for getting the game to the next day. Thank you guys. Good luck next year.
Well, before we break it down, we will email you with, I know flyweights have done equipment already, right, Chad? Yeah. Okay, I don't know when Jamie's, I think lightweights are gonna do them when we do them.
Yeah, we're gonna do all good.
I think we're gonna try to wait until t-shirts are done, which will be not this coming week, but the following week at some point. We will send out an email, please wash your stuff. We don't want stinky bag. We know how these boys smell as well as you do. When you sit in the huddle with them, it's not good. So we'll send out an email or phone call or something, and we'll get a time. Obviously, we're not going to please everybody all the time, but we'll try to do our best. Thank you all for coming tonight. Everybody that helped out with the ice cream part of it, thank you. I don't know who else is over there. Dana Eckler, great job. Thank you.